exactly is black magic is a big thing.
Oh.
You can feel the ghost behind you. And the trick is don't run, because if you run, it will chase you. You can hear like the steps, even though no one behind you. You have to do a sacrifice.
A human?
A human sacrifice. Yeah.
No.
So Morocco is like the number one. So Morocco is kind of like the mecca of black magic.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
They cook him couscous, but to steer the couscous, they use like a dead person hand, like a specific dead person hand. He started talking. He's like, "Oh, I told you guys, fucking, you should not be here for the past 3 years." And he shoot him straight in the face with a shotgun. And this is why the reason I don't want to show my face. People from the neighborhood, we're doing this thing. We're trying to be protective of each other. Like, oh, we cannot tell this story. We cannot tell like how our friend died.
Right.
Wow.
Now we know why you want to remain anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Welcome back
To another episode of
Naik Bulu Tales. I'm Mo.
I'm Fairil, and as always, we thank you for your support, for watching our show. We are 30 plus episodes in, Mo?
30. That's right. This is 30.
Man, we've come a long way.
Yeah. From a year ago, or less than a year. 10 months.
10 months ago, and we're now up to 30 episodes, which we never really thought we'd be here. But everybody who has, submitted their stories or been on the show have been amazing, and they've got some amazing stories. And but before we go on ahead, what do we always do?
You are the subscriber Nazi.
Don't forget, guys, to subscribe, comment, and like to help our channel grow.
And share all over the world.
Yes. So now, Mo.
Well, before we start, let's do a little recap.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Oh yeah, we haven't done that in a while.
We haven't done it in a while. 30 eps. Naik Bulu Tales, which translates to goosebumps or hair raising, is inspired by the 90s horror anthology Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt.
So we wanted to make this platform to, for campfire style ghost stories, things when you balik kampong, your relatives share with you all these kind of stories, and also another platform for those who have gone through a lot of, let's see, supernatural real life experiences, especially if you're by yourself and nobody believes you. So here in Naik Bulu Tales, we
don't judge.
We believe you. Yeah.
We know that there are certain things out there and we respect it. And,
Yeah. So do reach out to us if you have your own stories and you can relate to some of these stories.
We have a very interesting guest today.
Very interesting.
So interesting that this guest has...
Well, he decided to remain anonymous.
So to respect his wishes, we won't be featuring his
face or name.
A name.
This is for safety reasons.
Yeah. So this is an exciting episode, yet scary in many other ways than just about the supernatural. So
this is our first anonymous.
Thank you for having me again.
Hey, no problem.
Happy Ramadan. Yeah.
So, you too.
Happy Ramadan.
And congrats for the 30th episode.
30 episodes, yes.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
Thank you. But we would really like to listen to what you have to say.
Well, how do you want to do this? Should we do like...
Okay, maybe you want to start with chronologically, like when it first happened, or is it one big story?
Okay, yeah. Let's start. Okay, so the first encounter, let's call it that. Well, these things about, like in Libya, where I'm from, is...
No, you shouldn't say that, but...
It's okay, we'll just cut it up.
It should be right, but like...
Yeah.
Like where I'm from exactly is... Black magic is a big thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, here too.
Here too. Like when I came here, actually I was very surprised. It's like to more bigger degree than I thought. However, is, or like in the country, the thing is most people believe in it, but in a way it's like a myth. It's like you're not supposed to talk about it. Like whenever any story happened or something happened, like you should not be able to know what really happened. People like always hide their stories. They will like omit the details. They don't know. They don't want anyone to know the exact details, and it's always a sort of a thing that I took interest at. Being young, of course, all of us had like a bunch of ghost stories. Like this is like the first small story, right? So this is 2004, and it's during like a family member died, and during like not a funeral, but after the funeral, like everyone stayed in the grandma house, and
Yeah, like a gathering.
exactly like a wake kind of situation. It's just like all of us together, and I was like very young. I was like 12 or 11 maybe, and all my cousins and the neighbor kids, they started talking about this house, this unfinished house, and there's like a ghost in this house.
Oh.
It's like a residential area. It's like rich residential area. All the houses are nice except in the middle there's like this 2-story house that's unfinished, and no one bought it, no one lived in it for years. And they're like, oh, and it's like this house on a way to a school, so every kid that goes to that school must pass by this house. And they have like this story where like, oh, if you pass this house early in the morning, especially in winter nights, you can feel the ghost behind you. And the trick is, don't run, because if you run, it will chase you. You can hear like the steps, even though no one behind you. And I'm like, as a kid at that time, I was like looking for attention. I was like, oh, this is not true. Cannot be true. And everyone went to like details, tell me their stories, like, oh, we heard the ghost, and like, so the basic story of that house is 2 foreign workers that were building the house were eating. They had a fight over an orange. For some reason, like they're splitting an orange or something like that. Like I don't know the details exactly. They had a fight over an orange, and one of them threw the other guy from the roof. And he died. Yeah.
Wow.
Over like an orange.
Yeah.
Here's like where the story gets interesting. So during the season of orange, you can smell orange trees in that area, even though there's no orange trees nearby whatsoever. And like everyone went to these details, like, oh, the orange smell. You can hear, neighbors would say actually like they can hear the fall. They can hear someone falling. Like shouting, like a traveling shout. It's like, but it's like a traveling one. And they would hear the hit, and it's been like years. And at that time I was like looking for like attention. I was like, this is not true. This is like 3 a.m. and like 4 a.m. in the morning during like family gathering. I'm like, this is not true. This cannot be true. I'll bet you guys I can go to that house and go inside and nothing would happen to me.
Man, he's one of those.
Yeah, like it's a purely attention. Like I'm scared to my gut. I'm hoping for one of my cousins. Like, let's cancel this. Let's go have a breakfast or something. And kids, they're like, yeah, sure, let's go. 4 a.m. in the morning.
Well, we've done the same 20 years ago.
Yeah, let's
Same
go to this
shit.
location. We walked there, and so we walked in the house. I'm like, still, like, everyone following me is like, oh, he's gonna do it. And like, they're calling the neighbor kids. It's like, oh, this guy is Brown Shadow is gonna go inside.
Right, Brown.
Brown Shadow is gonna go inside the house, and like, let's see what's happening. And like, I have like this, at least 10, 12 kids follow me to this house. And I'm like, I'm feeling like on a death row being escorted to my death sentence. Like, I cannot back down now.
Right.
So we go in. I was the first one to jump the wall. I went inside, and I had like a cousin and neighbor. They jumped on the wall, but they didn't jump inside. They just stood on the wall. They're watching. And this time it was like already like almost like 5 a.m. or something. So the sun's kind of out.
Yeah.
It's like summer day, so it's like it wasn't quite bright. I go inside the house. The house unfinished. And it's like designed with big windows, so it's like they're not finished windows, so it's like it's just like holes in the wall, and they can see me inside. And in the first floor, I was fine. It's like I just walked in and kind of like roamed around. We didn't feel anything. We didn't hear anything. And stupidly, I decided, let me walk to the second floor. It's like I put like, let me claim this glory in a good way. Let me go to the second floor and claim this glory. So it's like, hey guys, I'm going to the second floor now. Everyone's shouting. It's like, yo, don't go to the second floor. There's where, like, here's where the guy got thrown from. Don't go. Like, I went up the stairs, and the moment I stepped on the second floor, there is this strong feeling of something there. Like, I cannot really put it in a word. It's like unworldly thing. It's like unworldly feeling. It's like almost there's something trying to communicate with me. It's like I don't want to like stretch it, but it's like
It's like a presence.
Something's wrong. I feel something is wrong, and so I was on the stairs. I went up, and then I went to like one of the big windows, trying to show the guys that like, oh, I'm on the second floor, and I just like took. Like at that moment I stopped. I was like, I'm making a decision. I'm like, let me just walk to the window and show the guys. And like this presence feeling, or this like, I don't know how to describe it, what to call this feeling. And I was like, there's something's up. And then I kind of stopped. I was like, I took like a brave decision. I'm like, let me just go to the window quickly, show my face and run away down. And the moment like I'm getting near to the window, I started having like this goosebumps basically. And now it's like I took 2 steps near to the window, and I'm like, oh, this is something's wrong here. And out of instinct, I remember I had like a wooden thing in my hand. I'm kind of like trying to see if someone's there. It was like maybe homeless people or something. And just I throw that stick and I run down. I go down to the wall. I don't know how I even jumped the wall.
Oh.
And the moment I jump the wall, I'm like scared, but trying not to show it. And everyone looking at me is like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, this is fine, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. But I don't know how to describe that feeling. I wasn't fine. Something was wrong.
Yeah.
Something crazy happened. And that's where the story finished. I got the attention I needed. Like all my family members like, oh, the brown shadow jumped on the haunted house.
All right,
I got the attention. I got the attention. I'm pulling up to my like, female neighbors. I'm like, that's my credit. Like,
yeah, yo, it's me, brown shadow.
Yeah, not my 4th grade. No, I'm the guy who jumped on the. So that was the first kind of encounter to some sort of situation, and it was pretty scary. Furthermore, a few years later, I was quite old. It was like maybe 2009 or something. Some guy bought the house, continued renovating, moved in, and then moved out like a few months later.
Okay.
And there was no details about why, but everyone in that neighborhood is like, yo, yeah, we know what happened.
Yeah.
It's like something wrong with that house. He was like, no.
It's like, fuck this.
It's like a rich neighborhood, and I think he spent quite money, because now, like, before I came here, it was like, when you look at the house, it's kind of like a very nice house. And he's like, no, I'm not. And never been sold after that. Yeah.
He smelled orange.
It's a good thing. It's a good air freshener. I wish I had that kind of ghost in my house.
That's right. I know.
You know what I mean?
Orange, fresh orange.
Fresh orange. Like the neighbor must be very happy.
Yeah.
During the winter season. Yeah, that was like, I think, my first encounter of ghosts. And then like I have like a few other stories with like almost like the secondhand encounters, like of very close friends. So the second encounter, and this might get quite crazy. So there is this close family to us, very close. They have a farm. They bought a farm, and they bought it in a very cheap price in the 90s. No one knew why. The 90s, like the land was quite cheap, but it was quite cheaper than the market price. And they bought the land and they built like a house. They built the barns and they moved in. And a few years later, like mid-90s, they discovered the previous owner bought that land. He's trying to find a treasure.
Oh.
Yeah. So let me give you like a background story. So Black Magic, where I'm from, a lot of people used it to like unlock treasures. Like, there's a certain way you can unlock treasures if you follow. So some say it's a jinn, some say it's like some sort of like a ghost. If you can like, some people also say it's like shaitan in that essence. Because to do it, it takes like a lot of work, and part of doing it, and this is like the most famous story, is you have to do a sacrifice.
A human
sacrifice. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So where I grew up, I don't know if you know, there's this, I don't know, some medical condition or something where people have like next to their eye pupil, they have like a black dot.
Okay.
You can see it's some people have like just a small black dot next to the pupil.
All right. Like a third eye, almost. The second eye.
I don't know what they call it. They must have like a name for it in English, but where I grew up, if your kid have that, you cannot leave him outside alone. The kid will get kidnapped within they have not recruiter, like people would scout, they will find someone with this kind of like eye thing, and they will follow the person around, and they will wait for the perfect moment to kidnap him.
And this person for sacrifice?
Yeah, this is like the sacrifice.
It's like
this
a
is
mark.
like the condition for the sacrifice. Yeah, like a person with this mark. I don't know the details how they do it exactly, but that was the story. So I had like a friend growing up with this eye, and his mom would never leave him alone.
Whoa.
And it goes crazy. They will kidnap an adult if they can locate him. And they know it's an easy, vulnerable mark that they can kidnap. They'll just kidnap an adult.
Wow.
And it's used to extract the treasures. And so yeah, this is like what I know. This is like a side thing where I grew up for people that extracting treasures. However, this previous owner of this land we were talking about, he discovered this part of the land doesn't have any treasures. So it's like he kind of made sure it's like, oh, this land doesn't have, so he left. The land next door is owned by another guy doing the exact same thing. So they know in that specific land,
something's there.
There's something there.
Right.
And this is, so I know the guy that in the other land, like, because I know this family very close. I know him, I know his son, and I know like how poor they are. They're quite poor. The only thing they have is like a house in the city in this land, and they have like a trailer in it. And for years they've been working on finding the treasure, basically. They never admitted it, but the story traveled very much.
Yeah.
So what you heard? Treasure as in gold? Or artifacts?
We don't know the details of the treasure exactly, but usually it's gold. They would have like some sort of communication with the other world, they call it. And that's how they find it. And there's
the other world would tell them where it is.
Exactly. So I think so it's not something I witnessed firsthand, but it's like you communicate with the other world, and you either do them favors,
right?
And they kind of reward you by giving you the details to the treasure.
Whoa.
And even though if you know the location of the treasure without doing the favors or the sacrifices, you will never find the treasure.
Right.
So here's when the things get tricky in that farm. So at one point in the early 2000s, they were digging a hole in the ground. They had like equipment, they were digging, and one day, like our family friends that live in the farm next door, they call us. They're like, "Oh, police is here!" Like the hole kind of ate up 2 people that were inside. The hole kind of like went down in itself, and 2 workers died in the process.
Wow.
And like with the police reports, this is like the police reports I kind of saw. I was pretty young, so they said they were digging, like, not a warehouse, but like they dig this kind of like place underground to hide potato in the potato season, to like store potato in a well condition, so they don't like install fridges and stuff. So that was the excuse. Oh, we were digging, and this was like a working accident.
Right. Okay.
So this is how they covered it up. And this is like moved for years. There's like 2000, maybe 2004, something like that. And up to 2000, maybe 7, they didn't find anything yet.
Okay.
At this point, I'm kind of old. I know, like, the son of the owner of the farm, and I frequently go there. And the son also is like, I wouldn't say like he deals with the other world, but there's one night, this is like the crazy story that happened. So I was in his farm, 3 a.m. in the morning, we was like barbecuing and stuff like that, and I have like the son of like the family friend's son, he was with me there because like he's basically living next door. And his phone rings and he answers the phone and he kind of get petrified. You can see it through his face, he get very scared. And this time, like mid 2000, like 2007, like prank calls was kind of like a big deal. So he answers, he gets scared, he kind of like I was like, what's wrong? He passed me the phone. I was like, I don't know what this person is saying.
Yeah.
So I'm listening. I'm like ready to like kind of shout, and the guy is like, yeah, fuck off. What you saying? What you doing? And this guy is saying verses, like not verses, but like he was speaking in Arabic, but in Arabic that I never understood. Like things I never heard before, and it's not something that you can easily react to. Like I couldn't pull up the face. I was like, oh, fuck off. What are you doing? I got also scared. And like we closed the phone and we told this, like the other guy, like the owner of the son of the owner of the farm is like, there's this voice calling, and the phone rang up again, and the other guy answered. And now the other guy is basically kind of reciting verses from the Quran, which is like kind of do defeat jinn, I think, or something like that.
The other guy, you mean the one with you?
No, not my friend. The son of the owner of the farm, the guy that he's like initially looking for the treasure.
Yeah.
And
he answered the phone.
He answered the phone, and he's like saying verses from the Quran. Like I'm not.
He's a third guy to held the phone, right?
Yeah, he's
your friend and you.
Yeah, my friend, me. Oh no, actually, there's like third guy who had the phone. Also, like didn't want to talk anymore.
Right.
So now we give it to the son, of the owner.
Yeah.
So he's like, now he's saying like verses from the Quran, and he's saying things like, oh, I can flip, sorry, I can flip like whatever he's saying on you, and it's get pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And this is like, at that time I didn't even drive. I was like, I had to wait for like a friend to come pick me up, and it's dark night, winter, the scariest, maybe like probably the scariest night of my life.
I mean, the fact that this is all happening at 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. I was like, this is like, we're supposed to be barbecuing and gossiping. That's it.
Correct.
Like, there's nothing else going on. And
there's a Quranic battle of verses.
And it's the voice is very scary. It's making. It's speaking Arabic. I don't know if you ever heard Arabic.
Yeah.
But it's similar to Arabic, but the verses, the way that the words is like composes doesn't make any sense to me. Like it needs someone like almost.
It's like Arabic language, gibberish Arabic language.
Exactly, it's like that's what it is. And
it's almost saying it backwards.
That's what,
saying
when
it.
we kind of research it later on, they call it talasum, which basically it means the magic language is basically it's like Arabic, but it's like kind of upside down or something.
Wow,
like that.
That's very interesting.
And it was pretty scary. So yeah, that night going home was one of the scariest nights. And like at that time I was like maybe, I don't know, 16, 17. So I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. Like, you're not brave anymore. Like when you're 16, it's like, that's not true. Cannot be happening. And then like, I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty crazy.
Maybe in the jinn world, it's a mirror image of our world. So their Quran is backwards.
It could be, yeah.
It's possible.
It's like a selfie for the...
Correct.
Yeah, it's like...
they're saying it
like
backwards. Of course, it's hard to understand, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Damn.
And we had our fair share with that guy. We hang out a bit more in that farm, but it's a bit uneasy place. So I lost contact with him. I didn't communicate with him that much, only like on like Eid occasions or stuff like that if I see him around. However, 2013, So these guys go from like a trailer on the farm to basically building a palace on the farm and like bulletproof cars, and
They found the goal.
this is
found the fucking goal.
This is what like my mom told me. Like, yeah, you don't make this kind of money overnight.
Yo, they found it, but they sacrificed somebody to find this
that's
goal.
the question. Who did they sacrifice?
Right.
There's something wrong. They either sacrificed someone or they did something crazy. It's like it doesn't work, and like they're not like a good farmers. They're not like making money from crops or stuff like that. Like I know the farm is pretty shitty.
No way they were real farmers.
No way they got all the money from farming.
Oh my god.
So everything changed. Like they built the wall all over the farm. Like now, it's like
So it's like 0 to extreme, 0 to 100.
extreme rich overnight.
Yeah, confirmed they found it.
Over like I remember there was one point they were fighting with my the friends we had in the farm next door. There was like some sort of dispute over like a tree, which is like basically like a square meter of a fight. And it's like, oh, this is ours, this is yours. It's a big fight, and like they want to charge like a lot of money for it. And the moment like after the money got, yeah guys, you can have the tree, it's alright, we don't need it anymore.
Wow.
Dude, they were fighting for it, and
There must have been something that they had to.
and by the way, something about that farm, dogs always freak out. So because like our family friends, like the farm next door, they had dogs. So whenever we walk to that farm to visit our friend there, the dogs, we have a dog named, I don't want to name the dog, but like the dog would stop, would never go inside. And at night they would, even like stray dogs, they would stay on the edge of that farm, and they're like barking religiously. Like there's something up, and in the day-to-day life, you kind of like, there's no explanation. Like, the dogs went crazy. I don't know, maybe they saw like a duck or something. Like what's going on? Like, no one ever. But they're dogs. They could have jumped the fence, like quite like a short fence. They can be there, and that's that. But that story took like few years took me from. And one part about that story actually. This is late 90s.
Okay.
All right, this is like part of the story.
We're going back.
We're going back. Yeah, this is like way before the money. This is way before the money. This is way before like everything was kind of rumor back then. Like we weren't sure. And our friend, like this lady, the wife, she's going outside the house. She's like basically she want to leave the house. She's like she opened the gate. She's like kind of about to reverse her car and stuff like that. And at that time in the 90s, the telephone network is very bad.
Right.
So for the neighbor farm to get like a good connection, they have to walk all the way to the other farm, and like they kind of like they have to pass by the other farm to find like a good
Landline?
not landline, like you remember like the old Ericsson phones and stuff.
Right.
Oh, wow.
The connection is like pretty very bad, so they're like
Portable phones. Yeah.
exactly. So they have to like really go by the main street. They can like get some connection.
That's right.
So the wife is reversing with her kid, and she saw the owner of that farm kind of on the phone. So it's like something normal, like he's trying to find like a good connection. He's talking on the phone, and she sees him. She goes, she leaves. Everything is fine. A few hours later, the police find the guy, the owner of the farm, in a different city, which is like almost 1,000 kilometers away, on the side of the road, passed out with like almost like a heart attack condition. Like he couldn't move his right side of his body. He was like,
This is after a few hours.
after a few hours, like they found him, like she saw him, what I remember, she saw him at 10 a.m. The police find him around 12, like 2 hours later in a different city.
2 hours to get 1,000 kilometers, not possible.
It's like even by plane, that's almost impossible.
Yeah, 1,000 kilometers, 2 hours, no way.
But how did she find out?
She saw him, and like, no, he disappeared. Like the police called his family, and then like a few days later, the story came up, and she's like, I saw him at 10 a.m. on the phone, and he wasn't able to talk for like almost a year and a half or 2 years.
Oh.
He was like kind of paralyzed.
Wow.
And they didn't know what's going on, and his family says like, oh, he was supposed to be in that city actually, but listen, I trust that woman religiously. She's saying the truth. If she says she saw him at 10 a.m. talking on the phone, she saw him at 10 a.m. talking on the phone.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's like he just
I think
transported.
It's like what they say. I think he got hit by a jinn. That's like the main story the other neighbors were telling.
Hit by a jinn.
Because also there was another neighbor, another like a worker in one of the other farms saw him talking on the phone like during the same time.
It's very interesting.
They found him on the side of the road in a totally different city, passed out, paralyzed, like he can't even speak for like almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a very difficult condition. Like he couldn't speak. He was in a very bad condition medically.
That must have been really traumatic.
Literally, like me hearing this story, and I was like, yeah, like what the fuck is going on?
I've never heard of a jinn having this effect on somebody.
I don't know. Maybe he's like insisting to get the treasure or something. Like we had all these conspiracy theories. Like we didn't know what's going on. It's like everything is hidden. Like it's very.
He was desperate to get it, maybe, and
I don't know. Maybe he said something wrong to the jinn.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, and yeah.
wow. But
And it was like even after he became okay, it's like he never talked about it. Even when people ask him, he's like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
Like he's like never fully admitted it or fully said anything about it.
Maybe he was on the phone with the jinn. That's
Maybe,
what it was.
yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like,
arguing.
"Listen, Dad, I'm taking you 1,000 kilometers away."
Yeah, dude, it's those kind of stories like you witness. It's like a second hand. It's like a very close second hand.
Yeah.
I was there. Like I know his kids. I know his wife. I know his daughters. It's just kind of like
That's so weird.
so crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, it gets very, very crazy. However, Libya is a bit less than other countries nearby.
Less, as in,
Like
That's
it's
black magic.
less black magic.
Oh.
Like so, okay, in Libya, if you're like, so Morocco is like the number one. So Morocco is kind of like the mecca of black magic.
no.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, Morocco, dude. Morocco is the pinnacle. It's like if you're doing any
That's
like,
from Morocco.
Oh,
Yeah, we have a friend from French Moroccan.
those are the one who escapes. Those are the lucky ones. Well, Morocco is the place.
No way.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Okay.
Yeah, and like the owner of the farm, like during his not childhood, but like in his 20s, he went to Morocco so many times. He's like
Marrakesh? Is that the main
Marrakesh is one of the places. I think Casa is the main place.
okay.
Casablanca is
Casablanca.
the capital. Dude,
Wow.
yeah. Okay. So here's a crazier story, and this is like a first hand. This
Crazy, okay.
this is so my best friend, older brother.
Okay.
So Morocco is famous with two things: black magic and prostitutes, reasonably priced prostitutes.
Oh, reasonably
Yeah.
priced. Okay.
So this guy, like my best friend, older brother, like everyone where I'm from, like, you have to visit Morocco. It's like very nearby. It's like a few hours away. So he decided to go to Morocco. We're just gonna party for a week and come back. He goes to Morocco. He fell in love with a girl, and then he came back. The trick is when he came back, he cannot get any erection on any other woman.
Oh. Okay.
So he would like at one point, like he was struggling in the beginning, like he didn't tell anybody that he told his brother, and like it's crazy. And he would get,
Wow. Yeah.
he would like bring in like prostitutes to him, and like
Nothing.
it's like nothing is working. And he would call this girl in Morocco, and immediately he's like fired up. Everything is fine, and it started becoming a problem.
Yeah, of course.
So he's like, now he had to go back to Morocco all the time. And luckily, they come from a very rich family. This guy's like, his family is quite rich. And it's like not complicated kind of rich. They have like a storefront. They have like a lot of stores that they rent monthly,
family
and that's like their income. They collect rental, and the rental per month is like around, like, I don't want to stretch out the numbers, but minimum is like $100,000
A month?
a month. Yeah. It's
Each
like,
store?
not each store, like
But
the whole
thing,
stretch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
Like it's like a long stretch. Is
money.
like, so he started frequent Morocco. Now it's like becomes a deal like every fourth week, like the last week from every month he would just go there. He would just be in Morocco. Now it's becoming a problem, and his brother, my best friend, gets so angry he tells the father, because now the kid, like the older kid, is like spending so much money. He's in Morocco all the time.
Yeah.
It's become a real problem. So he comes back one of the times, and the father catches him.
Yeah.
And they kind of like, he took his passport, and he took like everything he basically could use to withdraw money, and just took it away from him. And the guy, what he does next is pretty funny. So, like, that father is quite strict. Like, all of his kids don't own nothing. Everything is registered to his name. So he falsified documents that proves that he owns 2 of the cars, like a couple expensive cars, but he owns them. And he bribed, like, he found a way to also like get his passport quickly done, and he sold the cars without anyone knowing. He gets his passport ready. He waits till the end of the month, goes to the shops, to the most of the shops that he, like, his family collect rent from, and he collect rent on behalf of his dad.
Man.
Wow.
So he collected, like, he couldn't collect the whole stretch, but he managed to like collect a lot of the money, and he disappears. He goes to Morocco. He stayed for like 5-6 months, and no communication. It's like his brother trying to communicate with him. They couldn't communicate with him. Eventually the father's wise enough. He's like, hey, wait until the money finish. He'll come back. And 6 months later, he did come back. And now the father kind of involved. It's like, they like, at one point I remember they forced him. They kept him in the house, like, without his will. It's like, fuck you, just stay. They kind of put him in one of the rooms. They closed up on him.
Right.
And then, like, my best friend ended up telling the father the exact details of what happened. And like, here's what happening. Here's what was going on with him. This is why he keeps going to the same girl in Morocco. So the father is like, can you find me the details of the girl? Can we get any communication with her? They managed to get communication.
Right.
And the father travels to Morocco, goes, finds the girl, and he's like, I need you to, reverse this spell.
Wow.
They knew it's a spell now. It's like, it's a spell, basically. Like, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And listen to me, in the beginning, she denied it a bit, and then she's like, oh, you need to pay money. And this is like the whole family involved, because when he goes to Morocco, they discover like he stays in her family house, like with her brothers and mom and everything. So we did some research from our side, like my best friend did some research, and this spell called, so for the spell to work, basically she will have to cook him. Do you know what's couscous?
Yeah.
It's like a North African dish, basically.
Yeah.
So they cook him couscous, but to stir the couscous, they use like a dead person hand, like a specific dead person hand.
The dead person is the stirrer?
Yeah.
Or the hand is holding?
The hand itself,
right?
It's like
Man.
So they use the hand to stir the couscous while doing the spell, and then the hand will become bones after a while, because it's all.
Yeah.
Because most of this stuff is like stolen from graveyards, so it's like basically a bone. It's gotta be a hand, gotta be like a guy, it gotta be like from a certain age, and they stir it and they keep saying the spell. And then I think, like, I'm not sure about this, but there's like a lot of methods, but one of them, they take a lock and they lock it on the bone, and that's like the locking of the spell. So for you, and sometimes it gets weird. Sometimes they will take the hand with a lock on and they throw it in the middle of the scene, and you never would be able to recover it.
Oh shit.
But luckily, she buried it somewhere, and they paid money. And she said she unlocked it.
Was she someone, was she just a regular woman, or do you think she was a witch?
So here's an idea about Morocco. Everyone is involved. That's the myth. That's like what everyone from my country would say.
Oh man.
So like something as simple as like we had a family member that was married to a Moroccan woman, and they would never eat her food.
Oh.
Okay.
That's like
Safety.
That's her. She's a Moroccan. She's like, I don't think she's involved with anything. It just, oh, she's a Moroccan. She could be doing something. She could be, you know, doing a magic spell on you out of jealousy or out of hate or out of anything.
So everyone in this region knows that about Morocco.
Morocco is like where everyone go to. Like you, if you dealing with black magic in that
My God.
part of the world, you have to go to Morocco, or you have to be involved with some sort of Moroccan person.
That's really interesting.
That's crazy. And she like this lady managed to unlock the thing, and the guy, like after a while, he became like a very religious and kind of like changes, like totally changed for a person. And dude, it's very scary.
Right.
To like this, like if I can tell you stories about Morocco, I can like give you another hour.
Yeah. I can. This is very new to me.
Just about Morocco.
Yeah.
Like, in
So yeah, we have a Moroccan friend. And I definitely want to ask him next time we see him.
You told me he's French, right?
He's French Moroccan.
It's just even by the story he heard about Morocco, it's just crazy.
I mean, he grew up,
dude.
yeah.
Dude, I was in Morocco. I visited Morocco. We were in a casa at like the marketplace, and me and my friend we were walking down. It was like during almost Maghrib time, like they were closing, and there was like a psychic. They call it psychic. It's like a palm reader, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck out of here. Like, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
And we passed, and she called my friend by his mother name. He's like, come here, like this guy. Let's say like his name is like Muhammad, like Muhammad, the son of like Maryam or something like that. And he's like, what the fuck? And he stopped. He went back to her, and she's like, oh, I'm closing now. We close our shop, but come back tomorrow. I do the reading for you, and I tell you your life, what's gonna go.
So here we have something very similar to your couscous spell.
Right.
So in Malaysia, it's called nasi kambing.
Yeah.
It's a same
Concept.
you know. It's a woman like standing above it and getting her juices in the rice, and the man would
fall in love.
go nuts. And we've heard stories. We've yet to see first-hand experience of something that's not happening.
Listen, we're on record. I'm here. I'm in Malaysia. If anyone want to try nasi lemak on me, if she's hot, I'm ready.
You wanna try? Oh, brown shadow. You wanna try? Are you sure? After all the shit you've been telling us, the guy had to go to Morocco every month and every month. You want to go to
condition? She gotta be very hot.
Yeah, I'm sure she was hot. This girl.
So, going on to that, I know you mentioned you have one more story. Maybe you mentioned something about the war or something.
This is a story. It's like I wasn't born yet, but in the 80s, Libya went to war with our neighboring country, Chad.
Right.
And Chadian also very famous of using black magic.
Oh man.
So there's this stories from the troops basically during like in the front lines when they shoot on Chadian people, the bullet wouldn't hit them, even if it's like close range. And they realize like the Chadian army and like the people who fighting basically using like some sort of a spell to like it basically
like become
it's a veil. The bullets wouldn't hit them, and they found a way to make the bullet hit them. So basically you have to take a piss on the bullets for them to hit them. And it became such a big thing in the army. Every time they clean their guns and rifles or whatever ammo they have, they will just piss on it.
Wow.
So basically like you have like the whole front line, which is like, this is like a fight in the desert. It's like a very huge front line, and you have like thousands of troops while they're preparing for battles. They have to literally piss on their bullets.
It's like an unclean bullet can pierce them.
Could pierce them, but if it's like not pissed on, basically.
So do you think they use gin as bulletproof? As gin to help?
Yeah, I would assume so. Like this stories from the war, like they're not very famous. Like there's no way to verify them. Only like a veteran of people who fought in that war, they would tell them. And some people would say it's like, oh, that's not true. Some people would say it's like, oh, we seen this.
Wow.
Like I had a story from a family friend that he was a pilot and he basically bombed the front line. He's like, even bombing the front line, it was very difficult, even though it was a desert. So I can see the target from miles away, and it's very kind of like it's not something that you encountered before. Like, you know the target, you know you're like how to aim on the target and how like to shoot it, basically. And even like you shoot it, it's like, oh, the bomb's not going down in the same place that you want to hit, basically. And they all kind of attributed it to black magic, but this story is like, I really don't know. I have like a similar story in war where like a friend of mine actually fought in the 2011 war, the revolution. He was on the Gaddafi forces, and so this is his story. They had like a house, like everyone trying to hit, and it never got hidden. And this guy was like I don't know how to explain it in English, but basically like a rocket expert. So he's like very good with aiming big rockets on like certain areas. And he's like, we had this house specifically, we tried to bomb it a few times and never. It's not just him. There's like basically, different platoons and different like groups of military that tried to hit that place. Is basically they had to hit it, and it never got hidden. It's like everything around the house is basically damaged to the ground except the house.
Wow. So some kind of force field there.
Something is up. He's like, we knew there's no one there. He's like, because we kept eye on it. Like we had basically troops and like foot soldiers just watching that house, because it's like such a large it's not like a very close front line, because they were shooting rockets at each other at that point. And he's like, that house specifically we couldn't hit. In the beginning where they tried to hit it, they were suspicious about like there could be a sniper in there. That's why the need is like, oh, we need to hit the house. And then they managed to hit everything near to it that be moving, and basically that house remained in the middle. Is like, now we know there's no one there, because we got to see a car, we got to see someone going in and out if something is there. And it's been like, what he said, it's been like maybe 10-15 days they keep an eye on the house and there's nothing. It is like a war zone, like they're shooting at each other like repeatedly, and the house specifically never.
I think the final story we want to hear from you is the story you told us when we first met you.
All right.
That story. Let's do this.
So this is 2013, late 2013, this story. So it's like just preview to the story. After we had a war in 2011, and then after the war, the government got toppled, and like we have like almost like an emergency state. There was no police. There is police, but like not. They didn't have a presence as before. And in the neighborhood where I grew up, there is this graveyard, and it's not like a Muslim graveyard. It's like for the Italians, because we got invaded by Italy back in early 90s, and basically that's their. It's like a very nice land. It's a graveyard, it's a Christian graveyard. It's like grass, everything is nice, like guarded very well. And inside the graveyard, there's a church building. And the church building also guarded by like high walls, broken glass on the walls, barbed wire, very tight gate, like no one could go in and out very easily, kind of a place. And after the revolution, in my that place is like, it's not my neighborhood, it's like the neighborhood where I studied, so I know everyone there. And the kind of like people of my age, the kids of my age, they took over the church. It's like a nice building, inside marbles, everything is nice. It's very well built church. So they would chill at it. They were like, They would have like barbecues and stuff.
hangout
Yeah,
spot.
dude, it's
Yeah.
a hangout. Like people would bring in TVs. Like they had like drug dealers selling out of the house.
Just outside the church.
No, inside the
You
church.
can go in.
Yeah, they took over
You can
the
go in.
church.
Okay.
It's like they have TVs. I remember
Wow.
at one point people bringing like heaters and stuff for the winter, like so it feels a bit warm. And it was like a famous place in that neighborhood to get drunk and you know, party with the friends and stuff like that. And so here's where the story gets crazy. So this is spring, I think around May, maybe like May, April, something this year. So it's not that cold, but it's kind of still cold. So I was there. We were like having it's like every night they're having gatherings there. Everyone like there. So I was there at the early part of the night. We were like chilling. You know, some guys are drinking, some guys are playing FIFA in the middle of the church. Like, dude, we have some guys cooking. So some like it's just crazy. There's like at least 20 people there, and like everyone having a good time. And at one point it got quite cold. I was like, oh fuck this, I'm going home. Like I'm not staying. So I left. And yeah, pre to the story, there is always sounds coming from the basement.
Oh.
The basement is kind of crazy. It's kind of scary. It's flooded. It's not flooded, but it's kind of moist. There's like a
Dark.
bad smell. It's never been open for years, so no one goes inside there. So I was like, it's cold. Fuck it. I'm going home. So I go home, and here's what happened. So apparently, there's like a wall around the church. So you cannot go inside and knock on the main door of the church. You need to knock on the gate, outside the gate.
Yeah.
So while everyone is sleeping, someone was knocking on the wooden door inside. Inside, like someone like managed to jump over the high wall. It is a very high wall.
So the gate is closed.
Right.
But he managed to go to the door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone knocking on the door.
But there were people inside sleeping.
It's like some of the guys went home, the rest they would just sleep there. So one of the guys opens up the door and he said there was this bald 6-foot guy. Didn't say anything important. He's like, oh guys, you've been here for 3-4 years. This is my place. What the fuck are you doing here? And that's like the same period that they took over the church. It's been like 3.5 years or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, this is my place. What the fuck is wrong with you? And the guy freaks out. And listen to me, everyone in that place is like a downtown. It's like downtown city. Everyone like kind of criminals. So it's like they wouldn't fear, some sort of outsider. This guy freaked out. He goes inside to wake up everyone else. They go outside to the door. There's no one there. So now they're like freaking out. It's like, oh, you're drugged out or something. Like something's wrong with you. You didn't see anything. It's like, no. I'm like, I definitely saw this guy. And I can vouch for this. Like, I vouch for that guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, he must have seen something. I was like, oh, go back to sleep. Nothing is wrong. Like, he just, I don't know, maybe he drank so much. They go back to sleep. Few, like, moments later, maybe like half hour max, the 2 cars that parked outside, they still like within the church, but they park like behind the gate. They caught on fire. And it's like, now it's like a dilemma thing. It's like, well, what the fuck is going on? And like, they kind of like said, the guys second guessing each other, like what's going on? Was like our friend saying something correct? Maybe we didn't believe it because like,
How is this fire?
how's the fire inside behind the wall? Like there's someone inside that jumped in and did something. So his story now makes sense. Like someone was in the perimeter.
Yeah.
And everyone got so paranoid. Like by that time, like the firefighters came and stuff like that. Everyone was paranoid and everyone fighting. And then there's another group who was shooting inside the church. They start shooting guns nearby the basement door.
Yeah.
So they said, like one of the other guys said that they saw like a black rooster. And then this rooster will come important later in the part of the story. They saw like a black rooster just like in the building and they started shooting and everyone freaked out. So they put it all at ease as like, oh, the guys from the other neighborhood, they're like just fucking with us. They set our cars on fire. So let's let's come back the next day, sleep here, let's park the cars all outside, let's everyone bring their guns, bring whatever weapons you have, let's kind of ambush them. Let's see if they're gonna do something else. They're like basically picking up a beef with us, so let's do something else. And I was like, fuck this. I don't want to get killed by like some sort of like a 14-year-old that looking for glory. So I'm fuck it, I'm not staying. The next night, and here's where things get interesting. So now there's more people sleeping in the church that night. There's like around maybe 15 people sleeping, fully armed, ready for like a mini battle to fight it out. One of them was like a famous rapper. One of the cars caught on fire outside the fucking thing, like way outside, like it's parked in the street somewhere outside, and everyone started freaking out. And from the story, like one of the guys told me, he's like, it felt wrong, something is up. He's like, it was like almost like and here's the thing about telling these stories, it's very like paradoxical, it's very like mystical, like there's a lot of things you cannot really elaborate in words. So he's like, it felt wrong. He's like, you can feel the fear. Like no one is acting afraid, but there's fears, like there's something definitely wrong. So everyone freaks out. They started shooting randomly on the air because like, oh, you guys are fucking with us and stuff like that. And one of the other guys started acting very weirdly that night. So he's not like kind of communicating very well. He's not like talking to anyone. Whenever they talk to him, like he would respond, but like his responses doesn't make sense. Like let's say I know you're right. I would know the way you respond, the way you talk. So the way they talk to him, he would still respond, but like in a different way. And everyone was like, oh, maybe he's like, I don't know, he took a pill or something. We don't know what's going on. So this is like early morning. This is like 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. Everyone freaks the fuck out. Like one car caught on fire. It's like random kids shooting in the air. And like some guys like just left the church. And the rappers freaks out. He's like, fuck this. It's like he's the only guy kind of like spoke up about like there's something is wrong here. There's something we're not seeing. He's like, fuck this. I cannot stay here. This place, something's wrong with it. And he's kind of like shouting. He's like, fuck this. I'm not coming back here. And then the guy that was like, I'm not very responsive that night, he started talking. He's like, oh, I told you guys, fucking you should not be here for the past 3 years. And he shoot him straight in the face with a shotgun.
Shoot who? What?
He shot the rapper.
He shot the rapper, yeah.
The guy that was in a trance.
Yeah.
Woke up and said, you shouldn't be here for 3 years.
He's like the only guy kind of responded to him and shot him. And by the way, these two guys live like next door to each other.
They're friends.
They're like best friends.
Oh my god.
Wow, so something took over him.
Like point blank, he just shot him in the head.
Yeah, very close range. Like his head was almost off.
Wow.
By the shotgun shot, yeah.
Well, what did the rooster have to do with?
Okay, so here's where the story gets fun. So the guy who killed, like they came in, they set him up to the police,
yeah.
He gave himself up. And like now there's like the funeral process and like there's a million stories happening and people from the neighborhood, and this is why the reason I don't want to show my face, people from the neighborhood, we're doing this thing, we're trying to be protective of each other, like, oh, we cannot tell this story, we cannot tell like how our friend died. And
right, okay.
It's like the story started getting, have like a bit changes in it and people getting scared and stuff like that. And these two guys live next to the wall of the graveyard. So the graveyard is quite big, it's a big land. So at one part they live next door to it, like you just cross the road and the wall of the graveyard is there.
Yeah.
And they have in the wake where like the next day where like the funeral happened, they have like a big tent outside the house and people come and give condolences and stuff like that. And the first guy who saw the bald guy start shouting, he's like, oh, the bald guy is in the graveyard right now. So everyone like now jumping on the wall trying to see the bald guy, and the bald guy walking, like you can see him from a distance walking with a rooster next to him, with a black rooster next to him.
Okay. Oh.
So it's basically simple now. So we know something is up. We know this guy is like, they didn't think he's a human being.
Yeah.
So everyone starts shooting at him.
Still, man, y'all get guns at the graveyard.
This is like after 2011 in Libya.
Oh, right,
everyone had guns.
No, but then this is the same day of the funeral.
This is like
the wake.
So
same night. Same night.
So not the same night. So he died today.
And then
he stayed in the hospital for like one night for the police to do the autopsy and stuff like that. And he was buried in like afternoon.
Okay.
This is like 7 p.m., 6 p.m.
Yeah, Maghrib.
Same day. Yeah, same day. So everyone started shooting at the guy, and the bullet wasn't hitting him. So it is like 100 meters. It's very easy to hit someone. Well, like there's like you have 6-7 guys shooting at you from 100 meters.
Yeah,
you could easily die.
But was the guy just walking normally?
Walking normally. It's like
the black rooster.
with the black rooster next to him, and he was holding like the same box, like he was holding like a box with him, like a wooden box, and everyone was shooting at him, and no one
Could hit him.
Could hit him, and so we have like a guy jumps on the wall, takes one of the rifles. This is like a religious guy in our neighborhood, and he's like, "Oh, wait a second." He just basically takes the rifle and he just jumped down. He's like the only brave guy who went down off the wall and like
The other side, yeah.
the other side is like trying to get close, and he was saying like basically verses from the Quran and shooting at him, and he managed to hit him. And he hit him. So here's what I saw very closely. I wasn't on the wall, but I was there when the guy is dead. So there was no blood from the wounds. It's just like a dead body. No blood. When we opened the wooden box, there was like a lot of like transcripts, writing. It's the same thing, written in Arabic, but you can't read it. There was like some sort of a drawings. The police came in, they took the religious guy, they took the body. They couldn't find who's this body for.
Yeah, they couldn't identify
it. There's no family. This is like, I think it's still available on Facebook or something. Like, yeah, there's at one point like random groups on Facebook. They were like, "Oh, does anyone knows this person?" There's like a random other like posts and stuff like that. It's like this is it's a human. Is this not? They couldn't find who he is, and yeah, basically like it's listen, like I'm not a very religious person, but like I couldn't leave the house at night for a while.
Yeah,
like,
I can imagine.
I'm scared.
There's a lot of things going around over there that
it's crazy.
Man,
it's very crazy, and he's like there's no. Just like the thing about it, you don't have any sort of like a logical explanation to.
It's just that when you were there, then you know. Wow.
Now we know why you want to remain anonymous.
Yeah,
it's a good idea. Yeah.
Man, dude, thanks for sharing that story, man.
It'll be my pleasure, for real.
Dude, awesome. Thank you so much.
We are really,
honored, privileged for you to share this story.
Yeah, we'll make sure that nobody,
Please,
Yeah, it's a shame because you can't even share with your friends back home.
Yeah.
This video,
Exactly.
you can't even do that.
Well, you guys out there who've been listening in, if you have anything to say about this particular story, just comment.
Yeah, do ask questions. We'll try to reply.
Yeah,
based on his answers.
But man, it's been good.
What a ride! I mean, story after story. It's like you. There's world building.
Yeah,
I felt like we all both felt like we were there. Wherever you told the story, we were there. Good storyteller.
Thank you very much.
All right, man. I mean,
it's good to send these stories out to the world.
Yes,
Yeah,
at least it's
another. I mean, this is a story outside of Malaysia. So.
Yes, that's the fun part.
Where people actually use these things to battle in wars. It's crazy.
And it's nice to hear that it's not Southeast Asia. It's not only privy to Southeast Asia. Other parts of the country, black magic. Yeah. Black magic is such a global thing. It's like
I think you guys should like bring Southeast Asian black magic maker and like North African black magic maker.
I don't know about that.
We'll see.
Like a battles.
I know.
Yeah.
But you want to eat nasi kangkang, so try to make some
Yeah.
nasi kangkang. Ladies, whoever wants to give some,
That's
we'll pass it to
in
him.
a picture, please.
So yeah, you have to be extremely hot.
All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like.
Thanks, guys.
My name is Fairil,
I'm Moe,
and this is Mr. Shadow, Anonymous Brown Shadow.
Mr. Brown Shadow. Thank you.
Till next time, we'll see you again on Naik Bulu Tales.
See you guys. And oh yeah, Selamat Hari Raya.
Maaf Zaibatin.
Eid Mubarak. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.